There's a better way to rent movies. As many as you want for only $17.99 a month and no late fees. Go to netflix.com. Make a list of the movies you want to see.
So today I thought I'd make a little video about a little kind of sidestep in history that's kind of cool. So we're going to talk about the Netflix instant streaming discs today. I have the Wii one right here. Bought it off of eBay for this. Also, I just wanted to give a quick thank you to everyone who watched the other video I just uploaded. Like and subscribe, I guess. I don't like saying it, but it does help with engagement. So I wanted to talk about the Netflix instant streaming disc today because it's kind of a little sidestep in history that doesn't get talked about a lot. Here is the context and history of the Netflix instant streaming disc. So Netflix started as a DVD rental service in 1997 through the internet, unlike Blockbuster, which was a large video store rental conglomerate at the time. They opened with 925 movies available, which at the time was most of the DVDs published. So at first, Netflix was a rental service like how Blockbuster was, where you would rent individual movies. So in late 1999 to early 2000 is when Netflix switched over from going into a rent-based business model into a monthly subscription-based business model, more akin to what Netflix's DVD division today is still like, or like a GameFly. In 2004, Blockbuster introduced a service online that let you both rent movies that you could pick up at your local Blockbuster or rent movies and then have them shipped to your house like how Netflix was. Despite this at the time, even though this was for sure a thorn in Netflix's side, Netflix was still averaging sending out 1 million DVDs every day, which is absurd. So prompted by the Blockbuster push of, okay, so Blockbuster's doing what we're doing now, we're both sending out DVDs, Netflix isn't as unique, where do we go from here? So Netflix starts thinking about streaming. Now, this is 2005, so streaming is kind of something where streaming a whole movie isn't an easily accomplishable thing, if accomplishable on most internet speeds at the time. So the first idea was something dubbed the Netflix box. So the Netflix box was an idea where, because they didn't think you'd have enough internet to stream a movie at the time, what it would do is you could queue movies like how you would with your DVDs, and then overnight, so because they thought it would take multiple hours for the movie to download, so overnight the movie would download to your Netflix box, and then the next day you would be able to watch it, and then it would just cycle movies out as you went along down your queue. So this idea actually was developed and had what got to the point of a working prototype of a Netflix box in 2005. However, they did not go forward with it, so the Netflix box is shelved indefinitely. So in January 2007, Netflix announces that they are going to have 1,000 movies available for streaming on their platform. To give you an idea, at the time they had about 20,000 DVDs available to rent. So 1,000 streaming movies might not sound great in today's terms, but in all honesty, for opening up the first kind of streaming service, having 1 out of every 20 movies is pretty impressive. So later in 2007, Netflix thinks, okay, internet might actually be at a point where people could stream a movie real time. Instead of having to download it and then watch it, people might actually be able over their internet to watch a movie in real time. So Netflix is kind of on the side working on this idea that is dubbed the Netflix Player. The Netflix Player actually made it even farther along than the Netflix box. It was a finished product, but a couple of weeks before the launch, Netflix decided that if they went forward with something like this, that they didn't think they would be able to put Netflix on other platforms. Netflix feared that if they came out with a Netflix streaming device, that would be the only device you could stream Netflix on. And they would rather develop Netflix as like a software rather than a piece of hardware. Completely understandable. Fun little fact about the Netflix Player.
Oh my god, stop saying Netflix.
After Netflix shelved it, they didn't actually shelve it. So unlike where the Netflix box was basically finished and then shelved, Netflix thought that the Netflix Player as a piece of technology was just too valuable to not further develop or release in some way. So instead of creating a Netflix-only streaming device, Netflix actually would later go on to independently develop the Netflix Player as its own product, which is now known today as the Roku. I did not know that Netflix made the Roku before I made this video. That's kind of cool. So up to this point, if you wanted to stream movies on Netflix, you were able to, but you needed to have the highest tier available, or it wasn't available to everyone, like it was something where you had to pay more than other people. in order to be able to stream. However, in January 2008, all Netflix subscribers were given access to streaming, which is pretty cool, that they did not have to queue and wait for in order to watch. This actually was such an effective decision that in the next year, Netflix streaming actually overtook Netflix DVD already. It only took a year. All right, so now we're getting to the stage of where these come into play. So Netflix now has a streaming capability, right? Now at this point, it's only available on, like, if you have a web browser, but for the most part, Netflix streaming was something you could do on a computer, but it wasn't something you could as easily do on your TV. So at E3 2008, the Xbox 360 is shown off by Microsoft, and one of the major announcements that's made by them at the time, among many, is the fact that Netflix instant streaming will be available as an Xbox 360 exclusive. Xbox actually had an exclusivity agreement with Netflix that gave them, I believe, I want to say like a year, where it was the only game console that you would be able to digitally stream Netflix off of. Note that I said digitally. So in October 2008, it was finally confirmed, like, yep, this is happening. It's happening next month. And then in November 2008, it came out. You had to have Xbox Live Gold at the time, but it was there. All right, so skip ahead a year. We're in 2009 now. The Xbox 360 is the only game console that can stream Netflix on it. However, the PS3 and Wii also exist and are very popular. So in October of 2009, Netflix announces that they are coming out with a PS3 instant streaming disc, which is a disc that they will send you. You put into your PS3, and then with internet connection, that allows you to be able to stream from the Netflix library. It seems like the reason that this was disc-based at the time was just simply because it was developed with Xbox in mind initially, so there was still time needed to adapt it to other platforms, but the disc, I guess, was an effective middleman at connecting it. So October 2009, the PS3 instant streaming disc was announced by Netflix, and then November 2009, the PS3 instant streaming disc starts being released to people who then are now able to watch Netflix on their PS3s as long as they have the Netflix disc inside of it. So at this point, we are at January 2010, right? PS3 users have been able to stream Netflix off of a disc for about a full month now. Xbox 360 users have been able to do it digitally for about a little, like a year. So there's still one other console that we haven't addressed at the time that was a major player and actually had a larger install base than either the 360 or the PS3. Netflix announces that they're coming out with a Wii instant streaming disc. Now, this wouldn't be able to output as high a resolution as the other streaming discs, as it was a Wii, so it outputted, I believe, at 480 instead of 720, which is, you get what it's not the worst in the world, but if you had a Wii, like, it's going to look like you played a movie on your Wii. Like, if you put a disc into your Wii, it's not going to look much better anyway. And then towards the end of March, beginning of April, the Wii instant streaming disc started being released to people who now were also able to watch Netflix on their Wiis. So for about 6 months, the Wii instant streaming disc is available, where the PS3 one has been available for about 8-9 months. In October 2010, Netflix announces that, hey, we figured out a way to put Netflix on the PS3 and the Wii without you needing the disc anymore. On the PS3 through a software application on the PlayStation Network, and on the Wii through a piece of software called Netflix Channel. So October 2010, the discs are discontinued, which means that there are a bunch of instant streaming discs floating around. The discs would fizzle out in working over the years. So something like this, the Netflix instant streaming disc for the Wii, is something that existed for 6 months, was mass produced for these 6 months, and then instantly became useless as it was then a digital application. So now it's just here. This is like if when Facebook came out, you needed a disc to use Facebook. So everyone had Facebook discs. And then Facebook was like, you don't need the Facebook disc anymore. It just works in your browser. And then everyone just had Facebook discs lying around. But they only made you use Facebook discs for 6 months. It's not really lost media, but it is like a little lost early 2010s tech relic. So I did check to see if the discs still worked if I put it in my Wii. My Wii recognized it still as like the Netflix instant streaming disc, but you can no longer access the service through the Wii. A little cool thing I want to bring up before I show you what the disc looks like here. Well, as I said, the instant streaming disc was available on PS3 and Wii, but there was actually one other console it was made for. It was also made for the PlayStation 2, just not in North America. So they also had made a Brazil-only PlayStation 2 Netflix instant streaming disc. It seems that Brazil at the time, and possibly still now, had high taxes on imported goods, like technology like that at the time. So PlayStation 2s, being, the best-selling console of all time, was readily available in Brazil, but something like the PlayStation 3 was not, where it was still being a high-taxed import and it was already an expensive console. But because of both the import tax issues with Brazil and the fact that the PS3 also was a generally more expensive console, so it took a while to have a user base, were both reasons that accredited Netflix to make a PlayStation 2 disc. If it was something I could have bought off of eBay, I would have. But I mean, I couldn't. It's not even on eBay. It's not even on eBay. Maybe on Brazil eBay. Taking the mic off the Wii remote. Alright, so we got the Netflix instant streaming disc here. This is the envelope it came in when it was mailed to you. So it came in this envelope. Open it up here. So we can see it's the instant streaming disc for Wii. To watch instantly, place this disc in your Wii. Your choices will automatically be displayed. Play any movie or TV episode you want. This disc must be inserted each time to stream instantly from Netflix for 6 months. We open it up here. You can see it has the official Nintendo seal on it, as all Wii discs did. But isn't there just something funny about Netflix on a disc? It's like the little device that has all of Wikipedia on it, If you're still watching this video, thank you. It means a lot to me. Just wanted to make a little short video on a little cool late 2000s, early 2010s history. I appreciate everyone who subscribed. I mean, like and subscribe if you like the video. Check out the rest of the channel. Share the video. Comment shit. I don't know. Just do stuff. Let's just do stuff, guys. Come on. Like and subscribe.